talking about High Noon. It's currently on Kickstarter. I'll leave a link in the description. Let's see. I've already gone through like a little playthrough of this on my Twitch channel. I've had a great experience playing with Alex and my wife, who is not very much a board gamer, as many of you know, if you follow me on Twitch. But I've had a lot of fun with this, and I wanted to go over it, just basically the base set, and then the future of it, what expansions are planned, things of that nature. And I think you'll be really impressed with what's being offered currently, and what's going to be going on in the future for High Noon. So I guess I'll just get into unboxing it. If you haven't seen this stuff already, I'll just go through the things. As I go through them, I'll discuss things in the future about them. So for the rule book, we know that this was the demo copy, and this will get changed. But if it stays in this format, it's pretty straightforward. There's nothing. It has a table of contents. It does not have. I think there's. Yeah, it doesn't have a. Yeah, like you can't look up like coffee beans or dynamite for any specific information. So another thing, and I think this is rewritten with the rule book, is like a lot of people are having some questions about certain mechanics of the rules. The game is designed in a sense that you can kind of do with it what you want. You don't have to follow verbatim what this is saying that you need to do on it. So it's kind of an open game. This is more of a guideline, I guess, of how it would be played, and not necessarily, it must be played this way. He's certainly trying to avoid the whole, rule Nazi type thing. I mean, and some of the things in here, as you'll see, the cover is very basic. You're either behind cover or you're not. It's not confusing. Though if you change certain mechanics, you could then argue whether or not you're behind cover. Some of the characters, to balance this game out, certain rules were implied or implemented, so that one posse wouldn't necessarily be so OP that it's unplayable. So the balance is definitely part of the mechanics, even though sometimes they don't make sense, especially when you first start playing. If you're familiar with skirmish games like Kill Team or Necromunda, or a lot of things. Now the game is considered, I guess, a type of skirmish game, but a lot of people have referred to it as a non-cooperative dungeon crawl with a Western theme, which I think makes sense. The cards are actually designed quite well. Now, a lot of people say that the artwork is, kind of lacking in areas. Like, there's not that much artwork going on. There's not a lot of art style to it. I don't find that to be an issue, because when you're playing the game, it's not taking away or putting anything into the game. I mean, everything's pretty much spelled out for you. Your health is down here in these little, and you use poker chips to mark the health, what the range is, their speed, how much they can carry, what they're worth if they get killed. The top right there, that symbol was the what faction they belong to, which I'll go into some of the stuff I know about the gang. So some of the stuff, like currently on the Kickstarter, are going to be unlocked, and they're planning the expansions anyway. This is something solely to get it to retail. It's not trying to. I did forget to mention, this is not a paid promotion. I'm not getting paid for this. I just enjoy the game. I hope you know, you guys get something out of this. So where was I? So yeah, the posses. As more posses come out, it's almost like Infinity, where each section of the book, like, so if you got you know, Wildfire or Red Veil or any of those, you know, it takes you through, you know, small rule implements. You're getting a pretty wide variety of gameplay here, with the base as it stands. The As future factions come in, they'll introduce elevation. They'll introduce, you know, mechanics of machine guns and you know, new gear, things like that. There's a lot to be said for his thought process on, man, my hands are on fire. I should not have had that much coffee. How much planning he's put into this for the future. With that said, I will say I know of one, you know, and some of these posses, it's really incredible what he's got going on here. So some of these posses, so you have a governor, or mayor or whatever, and it's a political influence game for you. So it's not necessarily your, you know, fighting, you know, a bad guy. Your whole job is using your political influence to keep yourself alive, which will then lead into, you know, a campaign. So you could do this, you know, then co-op, you know, and that would be like the first thing is taking over this campaign manager. So in the future there will be AI, you know, so kind of an AI driven game, as well as a skirmish game. So it's reminding me a lot of Imperial Assault. You know, it can be a skirmish game. It'll turn into a campaign if you want it to be that. I think he had mentioned, and I could be wrong here, about mixing and matching certain factions. I know they have like a guy that, it's not Tesla obviously, but you know, it's like a Nikola Tesla kind of guy. There's the father, I forget his name, but he's a priest and he carries this coffin around on his back. He pops the coffin open and there's a machine gun inside. You know, so there's like these, you know, and one of these guys, Colonel Benjamin Rogers, you know, really resembles like a Teddy Roosevelt type, you know, character. So they're not really specifically going after historical names, but you know who they are. Well, you could guess who they are. So there is did I finish up on that? Yeah. You know, so there's a lot of things to be said for these minis, and they turned out. So I'll get a Space Wolf guy. Let me get Blood Bowl guy. I got some Crisis Protocol and Affinity somewhere that I was working on. There's some Crisis Protocol. Sorry, Felicia. Where is Infinity People? Let me get an Infinity guy, because that's a different size too. Wait, let's see. What do we got here? We got some Kingdom Death. Got some more Space Wolf stuff. Oh, here's a Kingdom Death mini. Here's oh, that looks like a Legion. Alright, yeah, we'll just grab a bunch of stuff here. What is this? This Elder Scrolls here. What else do we got? Come on. Where's my Infinity People? I think it. So. Oh wait, no, is that Imperial Assault? No, that's Legion. That's gotta be Legion. Let's get an Imperial Assault guy. Oh, no, that's Imperial Assault. So, let me get an Infinity person. have Infinity Peak. Well, here's some unpainted ones. We'll get an idea from that. What am I missing? Pretty much everything else will be the same. Let me get a Legion guy, because I know those are much bigger. Man, all my painted stuff is packed. Alright. So, as usual, I am prepared as always. I think I was working on these guys, but you get an idea. Which is really just the point here. So, Kingdom Death. So, Imperial Assault. That's what we're doing. We're a little shy of the size of Imperial Assault, which isn't bad. I mean, Imperial Assault was a good game, and these minis actually turned out really well. Yo, Chav, what's going on? So, what is that on my fingers? Oh, I think that's contrast paint. That I was trying some stuff with the contrast paint. It could be turmeric. I don't know. So there's your GW size reference. 25 mil. Yeah, I think it's a little smaller than 25. So, Crisis Protocol. Just as a size reference. Same, we got some Kingdom Death. Size reference. Blood Bolt. About a little smaller than the standard GW stuff. And then, I don't know why this guy's so shiny, but so your Legion guys are much, much, much bigger. But I think they're in the 30s. What is this, Elder Scrolls? Yeah, that's about the same size as the Fallout ones too. So, I mean, for the most part, it's not, I mean, they're not that small, but they're not, you know, huge either. But definitely paintable. Oh, let's check out Infinity. Get one of these guys out of here. Because I'm curious too, because I haven't actually scaled them up to any of these guys. So that would sit there. Yes, Infinity is quite bigger as well. But again, they're very paintable. So they're not too small, and I like the minis. I think they turned out really well. Bought some molds the other day. Oh, really? What kind? So yeah. So as far as the gangs, they're going to definitely be going. These are your base infantry troops, as far as, you know, going off of other skirmish games. There's plenty of gear cards. Each faction has their own deck of cards. I know somebody had asked the creator about sleeving. I have some sleeves here. We'll try it out. I think they would fit in there sleeved. I know the box that I'm getting actually has like a poker deck of cards, so they'll slide in a box to keep them together. So we have the cog wheel, which is kind of like, I think, more of what should be a wagon wheel as far as gear. It's a lot of the medical kit, gun stock, revolvers. There's some weapons in here, knives, chest plate. Whoa, can't read that. Sight. Now, I think a lot of these will come in useful as other expansions come out. And I'm sure, you know, you'll get more gear cards and things like that with those as well. Because right now, I think, for me, at least in my gameplay, I usually go for the armor and the healing. So then you have your cigarettes and your food stuff, coffee beans, snake oil. You get a lot of healing, extra actions. No, wait, is that in the wrong? Nope. Oh, I got shot with that by Alex. So, extra way to just kind of like play with your hand. Hey, Rod! Thank you. What's going on? Thank you for the subscription, sir, for 7 months. Holy cow. Thank you, sir. Man, I haven't seen you in forever. But then again, I haven't been on in forever. How you been? Yeah, for real. Yeah, I got sidetracked doing man, a lot of my buddies did some dumb things, and I'm trying to get a thing set up, which is kind of hard with the whole COVID thing, to get you know, some things together for the Veterans Hospital and the guys that are stuck up there, you know, locked down up there for mental health reasons. You know, but I was bringing in, you know, trying to get games to them. You know, it's been something helpful for me. But so you have your gangs there that come in the base game, and then, you know, more junk. Not junk. This is actually your weapons. Gosh, the dynamite. I've never drawn it. I want to throw it. But, you know, you got more weapons and stuff in there, which is nice. So there's a lot of loot to be had around the board. So again, it's you know, here's the timer. You got 12 rounds. The winner with the most gold, basically, at this point. Oh, I knocked my thing over. You know, the winner at the end of the game with the most gold, you know, basically wins after 12 rounds. But you can also just play to, you know, finish off your opponent. You know, and I like, and I discussed these tiles before. I like the fact that they have the, you know, that they're plastic. Now, what I'm probably going to do is on the bottom of these, well, you can see where the green square is, the red square, the window. I mean, everything's pretty easily marked on here. It's not hard to follow. What'd you get, Chav? Fantasy war game rules. Oh, let me take a look. Well, it's not letting me zoom in on it. Oh, nice. Very cool. But they're like this poly type of plastic. So, you know, it's not like cheap cardboard or anything. But I'll probably get the things that close your drawer to keep it from slamming, those little clear plastic things, just to keep it from sliding around on the table. Not that it's really that big of an issue, but if you want to lock them down, that would be an easy way to do it. Now, the map that comes in here, I know a lot of people were like, well, what's the big deal about the map? Well, I like the map because it kind of goes over, again, what I was talking about in the future. Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, it'd be nice to see if the resin would work. I gotta, well, man, is there an echo? I can't tell with, with, because I don't have my, okay, no echo, because I don't have my audio on, so I have no idea if, what's going on. Alright. I think because I have it off. Oh, no, I can hear it now. Dang it. Yeah, I know, Prize Fighter. I'll be on there. I was on there checking it out earlier today. So, Sweetwater Gulch. This is kind of the base game and some of the expansions from what I can tell. So it's kind of giving you an idea of things that are going to be coming. As far as areas and things that are planned for this game. You have an Aztec-y area type thing down here. You have some forts. It's interesting. You can definitely see that where the potential is that he's going. And again, he's got this type of, there's going to be a campaign thing that follows this. There's going to be expansions that introduce new rules. There's going to be, several things. The other thing they were discussing is not only zombies, but, an alien type thing, where aliens invade. There's a zombie expansion where zombies are doing this in the Western theme. And again, I think a non-cooperative dungeon crawl with a Western theme is properly what this is. It's I like the mechanics. They're weird to get used to. I'll be on a semi and I have a session today in an hour and a half. For Prize Fighter? Right on. So yeah, it's got a lot of things. Let me go over my list here because I have a bunch of stuff I wrote down. Look at these. Man, my handwriting is awesome. Alright, so as of right now, I think one of the things we were talking about, me and Alex, we were talking about, there's no way to really mitigate your hand. So sometimes you can just be stuck with, especially with the Leroy gang was a big one for me. In order to play half your gang, you need, one of these Leroy gang cards. Man, that green screen, I gotta fix that thing. That's all messed up. So you have to find those in your deck, but you can get stuck where you only have Quentin or the other guy, and you're trying to move your other, peons around. Yeah, James. So you can be stuck with just Quentin or James, and you can't, you kind of feel like stuck, but it kind of builds into that heat of a shootout of trying to, like, all right, well, what's my next move since I don't have any ammo, or I need to reload or whatever. So you're trying to jump through a window, get away, hide, do your thing. Let's see. So we had talked about the mechanics of line of sight, which it seems really bizarre, but again, it works because it balances all the factions due to things of range. So we got the deputy here shooting at this guy here. Let's see, I don't know, can you see that? Yeah. So right now, this guy can't shoot this guy can't shoot this guy, which doesn't make any sense because there's no cover in the way. I mean, when you're playing these skirmish games, it's like, I can see him, he's not behind cover, I should be able to shoot. Again, you're not chucking dice. This is more of a kind of like a card management. I wouldn't say it's like Malifaux. It's something different. So in order for one of these guys, they have to be, straight line, orthogonally. Now, they can do it diagonally, but they have to be on that same diagonal path, which, again, seems very bizarre, which takes away from things like, here's a window. He's shooting out the window. I should be able to shoot that guy, but I can't. He would have to be here in order for this window to be effective, or I would have to move over here in order for this window to be effective, which is kind of bizarre, but it makes sense given. So let's say you've got this guy here, and his range is the longest in the game. I think it's one of these guys, and I think it's this guy. Yeah, this guy has the longest range here. So let's say he's way across the board over here. Let's say he's got a whole gang out. Let's do the whole gang. So we don't want to be line of sight here. And so basically, he can just sit here with a cover bonus and pick off every one of those guys. So it forces, you to move around almost like chess, or checkers or something. You're trying to get into a position or get somebody else into a position. And some of the things that I like, the dynamite helps mitigate some of that because it has a blast range. Cover obviously has, some mitigation. But you can also catch that stuff on fire, and then they're taking a point of damage if they run to it. So you can do a lot of things around the board to get people to move into you. So it works. And again, at the back of the book, it specifically says, if that mechanic isn't working for you, don't use it. If you want to try something else, try something else. So me and Alex were thinking about having a game where we didn't, use those mechanics. But again, they don't work out, with certain factions. So if you're, limited to certain factions, then, let's say, range 10 and up, then yeah, I would see where that mechanic would work. It doesn't seem to want to work with better ranged guys because they can just sit and camp the rest of the game, and there's not much you can do about it, especially if they're in the building, because then you have to go through the door and around in order to deal with them. So again, that is something that I ended up liking it. Now, one of the other things that was discussed, which I see now why it wouldn't work. We had talked about, maybe, I guess, if you were the last guy, each team member had like one guy left, you would just draw a hand and randomly, but there's things that wouldn't work. There's no defense. Like, you can't, go through your hand and say, okay, I'm gonna put this one down. I'm gonna put this one down, or well, let me pick a defense card. I'm gonna put this one down, and then you'd flip them at the same time. So he's doing 4 damage. He's blocking 3, and then he gets to attack him again for 4. So then it's more like a shootout. But there's really no way to do that with the way you draw cards. As you pick your 3 or you get rid of 3. Then there was an issue of, you're getting to a defensive point, and he tried to, Alex had tried to go all the way back to because he had enough gold. He had a good gold lead on me. And he went all the way back to the end of the board, got behind cover, and then I had to push up on him, and he was going to see if we were trying to see if we could break the game. But you really can't, hide, because once that team closes in on you, you keep trying to move and save your defense cards, but you end up running out of defense cards. You end up running, you can't get behind cover anymore because the guys are on top of you. So it's it's something that's I'm sure been discussed or worked out, but it really wouldn't work. But it would be an interesting concept to do, like, okay, I'm gonna bid that, and you're kind of like betting, you know, what card you're gonna use. But I'm sure, again, that they've tried these things and they just didn't work out. I don't see them working out anyway. Let's see. Yeah, so we talked about that. So on this copy, and it'll be fixed in later copies. Where are they? One of these says Colonel Benjamin instead of Colonel Rogers. The card says Colonel Rogers. The tile says Colonel Benjamin. That's Colonel Benjamin Rogers. You can see there, but that'll be fixed in the new print. We'll say Colonel Rogers. And then, oh yeah, that was a weird thing that happened. So you do take a cover bonus, but so let's say there's a guy here, here, and here. It's a very weird stacked movement, but this guy can shoot this guy with a cover penalty. This guy can shoot at that guy with a cover penalty, and so on. So you can kind of stack. So it's really kind of bizarre, that particular fact. But if you got dynamite or something like that, then those guys are obliterated. It's not really a safe bet. But you could end up doing the same thing and just have a full-on shootout where you've got your guys, stacked up firing away at each other. So I'm excited about the expansions. Again, they're bringing in a bunch of new rules and stuff that I like. Oh, that was the thing. All the leader-specific actions are in their card decks. I almost wish. I've lost stuff now. Where did I put them? Under things? I put them away. Oh, here. Almost wish. So like Quentin, very basic card. We know what his range, speed, and things like that. Now again, this is not supposed to be a very rule-heavy game, and it plays smoothly. Everything works. But we had discussed, like, if there was, this particular leader had one special skill that was like either passive or you tapped it or something, or once he gets to a certain health level, it activates. But that's just that's getting to a nitpicky point where it may end up breaking the game. I'm sure they play tested that type of stuff. Tokens are good quality, cards are good quality, tiles are good quality. Rulebook's going to get fixed. So for the base game, you're looking at 52, 50 something. And I think he's changed I think the shipping is way down now. And then I think if you do the all-in pledge, it's $300 for the all-in pledge, which includes all the upcoming expansions. And that shipping is separate because expansions will ship differently. This is ready to go as is right now at his warehouse or whatever, so it's ready to be distributed. So you're gonna get the game right away once the Kickstarter's over. And again, this isn't a paid thing. This is just I really enjoy the game. It's one that I can play with my kid. I can play with Alex. I can play with pretty much anybody, even if they have no idea about skirmish type games. And I'm looking forward to the campaign where you then have more of a co-op option. The miners, I didn't talk about the miners. So if you're into worker placement, you'll have these miners doing their own thing, and they're going to be, doing things to, and it's going to be more of where you're placing your miners, what they're mining. You'll have gear, specific to what they're mining. And then you have, like I said, the governor who plays more on a completely political level versus the shooting. Then you're going to, again, have the aliens, the zombies. More and more, factions are coming out, introducing, elevation, machine guns. The Father Franklin, I think Father Franklin. That coffin opens the lid, turns into a machine gun. Epic. Absolutely love it. So yeah, that's going to be the future of High Noon, as I know it, or what's been discussed in the Discord. I'll leave a link in the description when I put this on YouTube, and then you can go check it out. I think there's 10 days left as of now, so yeah, definitely go check it out. Thanks. And then I will be, for my other Twitch people, I'll be going over Sea of Legends, because the last time I did that, I felt like I was drunk. And some of those minis I want to get painted. So I'll get this put up. So what's everybody been up to? Much. Just got dead quiet. All right. So I'll be going over Sea of Legends, and that was another thing before I leave. Wow, that was loud. Yeah, he's going to be making grid mats for more of a tournament style play, which I think is interesting and neat. So I think they're going to be double-sided. So that'll, you'll have your grid squares and your terrain and stuff, and it'll be a specific map that's geared towards a tournament style play. And again, the game is designed solely to be fun. There's no you have to play it this way, which I like. So then you can also play test, experiment, do your own thing, and really truly do what Kickstarter intended, which is get this to retail, bring in elements that people who play the game enjoy, rather than just deciding this is my vision for it, this is how I'm doing it, and nobody has a say about it. So I think that's also very good. Is people are putting in ideas all the time on Discord. I know there's talks about bounties and other little neat little things, but I've discussed what I know of it, and I hope you check it out. I think it's an absolute great game. It's not hyper intensive. You don't have to spend hours. You don't even have to paint the minis since they're already colored. I'll be painting them, of course, but you don't really have to invest into paints paintbrushes, anything like that. You don't have to invest into terrain. For a quick little skirmish game, pull it out. 60 to 120 minutes is what it's rated. If you're a really bad player like myself, we can get a game in 25 minutes. And I like the aspect of 4 people playing. I'm sure you could do 6, 8, and so on, because the gangs that come out come with tiles. So it'll be interesting, to see how big of a map you can eventually create of Sweetwater, and, all the subsequent areas that are there going to be following in the footsteps of, the base game, and to see where it goes from there, what rules are changed, what equipment is changed. But I don't feel like this is going to be one of those games where, Star Wars Legion, X-Wing, where, they had to make a version 2 because, and then you had to convert everything over because there was a meta that was in there that, you couldn't do anything about it. Imperial Assault ended up the same way. Even Legion, you bring out your guys, you paint them, and then there's a new one that comes out. It's like, well, now these guys are useless. You're buying a new faction. You're a new, sub part of your faction, and then you're just constantly buying, building, painting, buying, building, painting, and then the more of these things you play, it gets ridiculously expensive. And as you guys have seen, I play them all. So it's, I even have horrible ones up there that I'll never play, ever, just because, the mechanics are just that bad. And if I have to hurt my brain to figure out what a dice roll is, you've jacked it up. You've done something horribly wrong. So the game I'm talking about, I could go on for hours, but it's like, if you roll a 3, something's doubled, but you take the 3 away, that doesn't count. And then if you roll 2 3s, it's added by 1, but you add the 3s. It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You need a calculator for a 5 dice roll. It's ridiculous. So no, I'll never play that thing again. Actually, I didn't finish the game. I got so tired of. I don't know what they were thinking. And they never fixed it, even though everybody complained about it. But yeah, I've got everything. Literally, well, not everything, but literally a ton of stuff. I got stuff over on that wall, I got stuff on that wall, stuff up there, stuff down there. But anyway, I'm switching over. I stop this stream, start a new one, get on to Sea of Legends, talk about those, and hopefully get some painting done. Thank you for stopping by, and thank you, Rod, for that sub for 7 months. I will see you in a few minutes.